Let's talk about the hustle, the late nights, the early mornings, the endless calls, the deals that almost happen but don't. Nobody sees the work that you put in. Nobody claps for the offers that you never get accepted, the partnerships that fall apart, the underwriting you spend hours on just to realize the numbers don't work. But this is the game. And if you're in it, you already know it is not easy. It's not glamorous. And most of the time, it feels like you're pushing a boulder uphill. But here's the thing, every rep counts, every failure sharpens your edge. And when the right deal finally comes, you'll be the one who's ready. So today, I am speaking to you, the ones doing the work when nobody's watching, the ones who are ruthless, the ones who are relentless, the ones who are freaking obsessed. Let's talk about what it really takes to break through in this business. Guys, today I'm just coming at you raw with emotion, with feeling, no script. I'm just talking based on what I'm up to, what I'm seeing, what I'm working on, and hopefully you guys can relate. I submitted 10 offers this week, got one accepted. Did you? How many offers did you submit? How many deals did you underwrite? What did you look at? What are you working on? Guys, I work a W-2. I work all day. I'm a dad. You know what I mean? I work my W-2 as a teacher during the day. I'm a dad during the mornings and nights. Sometimes I work at a restaurant at night. Like this week, I worked one night at a restaurant and I'm home till 11 o'clock and then I can't fall asleep. Then I'm up early again, working out, making sure I get my workouts in, making sure I'm looking at all these deals, responding to brokers, calling brokers, talking to brokers, all while keeping my podcast going, my business is running, selling one apartment complex, just got another one under contract. Guys, come on. What are you doing? Nobody sees, nobody cares. 10 offers this week, but I got one. Now, let's talk a little bit about that. You get a deal under contract. Now shit hits the fan. Right now is when it's time to really grind away, get it done, and close the deal if you like it. There's a couple methodologies or thought processes when getting a deal under contract. Some people like to offer a little higher and then renegotiate afterwards once they're in contract. They entice the seller to go into contract with them by offering a higher purchase price, maybe a shorter closing time frame, and then they renegotiate. I don't like to do that. Sometimes you have to, though, and I'll get to that in a minute. Then there's the other thought process of, well, let's give our real offer. Let's bake in our CapEx. Let's see what it's going to shake out to be, how we think it's going to operate honestly, and then make that offer. And that's generally where I make my offers. I don't like to go in there and renegotiate, although sometimes it's absolutely necessary. Sometimes there are unforeseen issues and you have to renegotiate. I get it. So I literally just got on the contract last night. Now I'm panicking. How am I going to get this deal done? Is it worth it? It's just a single. It's not a home run. And if you're dealing with people out there that are saying they have home runs, I'm going to call nonsense, BS. So let's go. Now looking at the deal, okay, how are you going to do the down payment? That's a big thing. You're always putting money in the deal unless you're doing seller finance, which is super rare where somebody's allowing you to put no money into the deal. Very rare. And even then, you're going to have to put something in. You're going to have to really maybe do some CapEx on your credit cards. You're going to be putting money in. So now I'm looking at a deal. I got a 16 on the contract. We're going to be coming out of pocket $200,000 no matter how you cut it. So whether that's going in bridge, closing with hard money, closing with a traditional bank, you're basically out of pocket $200,000. Okay. So what does that come down to? How are you going to structure that? Like me and my team, we don't have $2,000. So what do? Do we make this a syndication and raise the majority of that and then put in the rest ourselves? Do we make this a JV opportunity where we joint venture with somebody, partner with somebody? But there are problems with that. Let's take a look. Let's dive into that. For example, if we're going to do it as a JV and somebody's going to bring in all the capital, maybe we could structure it where 50% of the deal goes to the person with the capital. Is that enticing enough for them? And then the other 50% goes to my team who's doing all the work. Is that enticing enough for us? So you got to balance these things out. And these are the things that happen. And I tend to like to have the deal structured prior to making my offer. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to pop those offers in and see if anything bites, because I make so many offers that to go that deep on my analysis and structure, you're never going to get anything. You're going to spin your wheels and waste your time. You can't offer like on one deal a year and expect that to be the unicorn deal and you get it and you land it and you close it. That's not how this game works. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to make offers where it's close enough to where you think it's going to work pretty well for you. And then you adjust, you pivot, you structure properly, you negotiate. And that's where I'm at right now. So this particular deal is a pretty good deal. I like it. I wouldn't have offered on it if I didn't like it. Number one. Number two, structuring it is where it's going to be the challenging part, like I just mentioned. And number three, the time frame for closing this is very short. So this hinders our structure again, once again. There's obviously so many ways we can do this. And I'm going through my brain. I wake late, staying up late last night, getting up early this morning to re-underwrite it 3 different times in 3 different ways. So I have 3 structures of how to nail this deal, talking to everybody out there that I know that's got interest in investing or being a partner and getting this deal done. So now at this point, we have an inspection scheduled, and that's our next steps. We have such a tight timeline. So our inspection is going to happen as soon as I deposit the EMD or somebody on my team deposits the EMD, which is refundable. You got to make sure it's refundable this day and age. 3 years ago, you didn't have to. Most people were just going in with hard money. And I don't recommend that now. So now we have a refundable EMD because once we get into the units, do our inspections, if we don't like anything or if the seller is not willing to renegotiate where we need it to be, then we're just going to walk and that's fine. And the only loss that we will incur at that point would be our time, number one, which is very valuable and important. And also about $1,000 or so for the inspections. We got to get unit inspections. I'm not going to do a deal without doing inspections. We also have to get an appraisal, especially if we want a bank to take a look at this. Be careful with ordering an appraisal because most of the time a bank orders the appraisal and they have the certain requirements that they require. So they are going to have to do that appraisal. And again, appraisals take a couple weeks. So here we are. If I'm telling the seller that I'm going to close cash and close quick to entice him to pick me out of the buyer pool, which happened, then I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. And I'm talking to you guys. I'm genuinely honest right now. I'm just open and sharing what's happening. This is how the deals go. I can't stress this enough. You are not sitting there as a passive multifamily investor, just chilling out on your couch, waiting for the unicorn deal or somebody to call you and say, hey, invest in this. You're going to get 20% cash on cash. You're just hanging out. Or a broker to call you and say, hey, this deal is going to be 20% cash on cash. And you can continue sitting on your couch eating those chips. That does not happen. And if you think that that's going to happen, don't be in this game. Or be an LP, limited partner, invest with me on my syndications. Okay, back to the stories. I got to figure this out. 2 weeks to close. Obviously, I'm going to push that out. I'm not going to close in 2 weeks because I would love a traditional bank lender to get on this. I don't want to have to go hard money. It's way too expensive. I have options of borrowing money to get into this and then paying that person back. Yeah, that's an option. I have options of getting a friend to do the hard money loan for cheaper. There's bridge. There is the ability to just go in with a traditional bank and do a little either capital raise if we're going to do it as a syndication or get a partner to come in with the funds. So there's a few ways to structure it. I have 3 different scenarios broken out in my mind, and all of them are producing decent returns depending on how long you take to refinance, which you have to do if you have a bridge or hard money, or for how long you're going to hold it. This is where it comes down to, do you have what it takes to be in this game? A lot of people just look at this and be like, I can't do this. Why am I going to do this? Why am I going to put $200,000 down on a $450,000 project? Right? That's what it is. That's what it takes. Who's going to want to do that? Well, somebody. There are people. I already have people interested. And the only way that I have people interested is to continue to show that you are in the game. The relationship that I built with this one person in particular that is considering doing this deal with me has gone for 5 years. He's passed on every single deal. 5 years. Again. And this isn't, I call this person when I have a deal. No, you got to maintain a relationship. You have to get to know the person. You got to trust them. They have to trust you. They got to be ready. They have to have the capital available, etc. There's so many factors involved. So in order to be in this game, you need to be consistently talking with your investors, with your people. You need to be networking. You need to be sharing deals, sharing thoughts. Maybe if you're not in this for the right reasons, it's a waste of time. Otherwise, if you're in it for the right reasons, you understand what it takes to get these deals closed and why it is important to get these deals closed. Today, we're looking at a 20 to 40% discount across the nation on deals. which means that if you can get a deal that will cash flow today, a deal that has opportunity, that has room, the ugliest deal on the block, if you can get those deals at a discount and hold them through this trough, that will be prosperous in the end. It's hard to predict how much of a return it's actually going to be, but we have general guidelines for doing that. And right, when I project my exit, which is really going to be, well, so first of all, back to my underwriting. I understand very well how these properties are going to operate. I can really get down to within 5% of what the income is going to be, what the expenses are going to be. I really nail these things at this point. I've underwritten so many, and we've operated for so many years. So now I understand it. I get it. I can underwrite this thing enough to say that it's going to be a 5% cash on cash. It's not a 10% cash on cash deal. And honestly, nothing really is in Florida. And if people are saying that, they're lying. Get away from them. I know that how to make this a 5% cash on cash deal, right? Now, if we structure this properly today, and if we get debt on it properly today with 5 years fixed, let's say, even if we plan on holding it for 10 years, 5 years minimum fixed debt, and rents, we were able to push rents over 6% in 2 years, almost 7% in 2 years at our other property through this trough, through this downturn. And we're not projecting to push it that much on this property. However, if we can do year over year 3% rent growth and 3% expense growth, and then all of a sudden the trough ends, right? And the market shifts and things start going up and buyer sentiment goes up, we can maintain that cash on cash return. And then we have the option of selling once buyer sentiment changes, once the interest rates drop, if they do. Again, we don't know. And if they don't drop, then we are where we are, and we still have this single or double deal in the books, and it gives us momentum. That's another positive thing about doing deals. You get momentum, you get credibility with brokers, you get partners, you get to work with each other, you get experience, you get time in the game, which is absolutely critical. Now, let's say things do shift and we get another couple of years of high rent growth. Now is when we're talking about insane optimism and growth and positivity on this one particular deal. Now, if the market shifts and gets worse, remember, we have a fixed loan on this. So our 5% cash on cash, okay, what if it drops to 2%? Who cares? If you are an investor, who cares? It's okay. These things happen. If you're going in this deal to try to get a 50%, 60, 70% discount on the purchase price, just so this will cash flow 8 to 10%, you're never going to get a deal. I don't care what you think. I'm still competing today against people with this in this discounted market who are being more aggressive than I am. And I lose deals all the time to these people. And who knows if those deals are functioning properly, surviving or not, or if they're coming out of pocket to pay the monthly or yearly expenses or not. And I don't care. I underwrite knowing where this is going to do well enough for me to have at least a 5% cash on cash return, which is a hedge against any risk. Remember, the cash on cash return is a hedge against risk. It is not your income to live off of. You don't live off of 5% cash on cash. Remember, I went through the math before. I'll do it again. Let's say you have $200,000 invested. 5% cash on cash is $10,000 a year. You are not living off that. So stop it. That is just your safety net to ensure for any things that can go wrong and do go wrong all the time. Okay. That's your safety net. Now, back to this deal. If you're curious about it, if you're interested about it, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get this thing on the contract. I got the contract last night. I just have to sign it. I'm going to sign it today. Me and my team are going to meet. Then we're going to meet with this capital partner that I have and see if he wants it on the deal and check out the 3 different structures that I have for this particular deal. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is we have on Monday, we're going to shoot over the EMD, the earnest money deposit. That's refundable, by the way. So don't stress it. It goes into an escrow account. It doesn't go to the seller. Next, we are going to have our inspection on Tuesday. We will get the inspection report back that night because we have a very good relationship with our inspector down in Florida. And if you need a contact, please reach out to me. I will share that. We get the inspection report back. We finalize our CapEx budget. We begin our renegotiating because at the same time on Monday, when we deposit the MD, we're also going to be getting all the financials because we have no financials on this one. It's not a listed property, okay? This is a pocket listing. We're going to get all the financials on it. We're going to get the rent roll. We're going to do a lease audit. We're going to request the estoppels, all this stuff. And if things are not jiving to what the seller had proposed or told us, that's when the renegotiating happens. Now, we will have 10 days from me depositing that money to finish my renegotiation, to feel comfortable with this deal, to move forward. Okay, so let's say I like the deal. We're moving forward. We have the structure set up. The 2 weeks is going to run out. We're not going to close on this thing in 2 weeks unless we just put all cash, which is possible, and then look for a bank to finance it, which is totally possible. Okay. But we're likely going to just do an extension, request an extension, get a 15-day, then maybe another 15-day, and then have the bank close on this. I think it's going to do really well with a bank loan, a traditional local bank. We have a good relationship with lenders down there in Florida. And that's it. We're going to hold this thing for 5 to 10 years. That is the goal for it. And it can give a 3x equity multiple. I mean, you got to wait 10 years for it, but you could get 3 times your money back. And that's the name of this game. This is not a flip. However, just like I said before, we could do it like a flip and probably get about $100,000. So let me give you some numbers. We're buying it for $450. I think it can be worth anywhere from $650 right now to $690-ish today. We might have to do some rehab to get it to that level. So let's say $50,000. So let's say general numbers, we put $500,000 in. Tomorrow it is worth $650,000 to be conservative. There is a lot of closing costs and other fees that go involved, especially if you're doing hard money. So let's cut out another $50,000 or even $75,000. Now you're left with $75,000 profit if you flipped it in a year. Okay, great. That is excellent. It seems good. Is it worth it? I don't know. It depends on your risk tolerance. It depends on a lot of things about what you're interested in, etc. Is $75,000 worth a flip today? And I think it's a pretty easy flip to handle and do, and pretty easy to get that return in the end. The $75,000 for me is pretty safe, but you're putting in anywhere from $200,000 if we're doing a bridge loan or conventional loan, up to $500,000 if you are closing in cash, right? So you got to balance which is it worth it for you? That's the real question. Is it worth your $200,000 it being tied up for a year or so, or $500,000 being tied up for a year or so and making a little bit more money on that? Is it worth it for you? I don't know. Now, again, remember, if we are doing flips, which I've never done, and you sell within under a year, that means you're going to be liable to higher capital gains taxes. Just be wary of that. So that's something you need to know as well. Done. That's it for today, guys. I just want to be the person out there that is encouraging you to continue when nobody's looking, at nights when you're tired or sick, like me. I've been sick for a month. At nights and early mornings when you still need to make sure your family is safe and happy and you're taking care of them and you're spending time with them and your job needs tending to and you need to really do well at work. Maybe you have a side hustle like me and other jobs. You're sitting there underwriting a deal and nobody's looking and you're like, well, should I really do this thing or should I just turn on the TV, watch Netflix? Should I really finish underwriting and really dive into this rent roll right now, or look at this T12, or underwrite it a different way because it's not working out, or submit this LOI when I can actually just sit and scroll through TikTok? Guys, you make that decision for yourself. And if you make the right decision to continue to power through this game and do your best, know that I love you and I'm there watching for you. I am rooting you on, even though I'm not looking right now. I am rooting you on in the background. This is my official cheer for you. Go out there, kill it, guys. Go get some deals. I just want you guys to succeed. I want you to understand this game, get involved in it if it's what you truly love to do, close deals, show your friends, family, or loved ones, your kids how to do it, and let them reap the benefits of all the work that you put in. And if you don't love this game and just want to invest as an LP, reach out to me. Also, I never ever say this. Please like and subscribe to this episode, either on Apple Podcast, Spotify, whatever. Go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel as well. I have a multifamily credibility kit that I'm giving away for free if you go to my website, smallxcommunities.com. And if you have ever struggled to get a broker's attention, this is what's going to get it for you. Go there now, get that credibility kit, and keep rocking. Last request is to share this episode with somebody that you think might enjoy it or get value. And then please give me a rating and a review. It would really help me, guys. I'm at like 88 ratings and reviews. Please, 12 more to 100. Let's rock this. I love you. All right, and that's a wrap, Small X community. So I wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for listening to the show. And if you liked it or got any value from it, it would really mean the world to me if you would share it with someone else and write a review. Remember, guys, keep sharpening those axes. Let's get out there. Let's crush it. Love you guys.